you are going to create a landscape with an Egyptian Sphinx. I have created a little sketch, and this is something that I do a lot of times when I am making something new, is I'll kind of create a small sketch, and you can see it's just a couple of inches big on a post-it. That way I know what I'm going to do. So, all you're going to need today is a half a sheet of paper, a pencil, and either crayons or color pencils. This picture I want to show you is what scientists think that the Sphinx used to look like. At one point it had a beard, but it didn't originally have a beard, and it was painted. The body was painted red, and the face and headdress had blue and yellow on them, so the primary colors. When we get started today, we don't want to start right in the middle of our paper because that kind of doesn't let our eye move around the paper. So I'm going to start off to either the right or left, and I'm going to start with a U shape for the face. You want to draw lightly in case you make a mistake. Now you can decide. I kind of see a little something on the headdress of the Sphinx here, and you can look up pictures of it also on your computer. So I see a little something, and I kind of think that that might have been a snake at one point. So I'm going to start with a teardrop shape to be my snake, and then I'm going to put another little teardrop shape in there to create the snake face. And I'm not going to put much detail into it. I'm going to close up the top of the head. And I am going to make the top of the headdress. Now you're certainly welcome to look at pictures of the Sphinx. Look up your own pictures that it might have looked like, and draw it yourself, or you can follow along with my directions. So now I'm going to make the two sides coming down and in. I didn't go all the way in because I'm going to create the beard on my Sphinx, much like the one in that picture right there. So I just made a 6, and it's back up. I'm going to start the body, and to start the body, I'm going to make the shoulder. So I'm starting on the headdress, and I'm just going to make a little candy cane curve on each side. Now the Sphinx's arms come out pretty far, but they're coming towards me. So I'm just going to start with a curve on each side. And let's see. I'm just going to try and make the arms come forward, but I think I'm just going to tuck the paws in because it's really just coming straight at us. Did you know that there was a temple built right here in between the paws of the Sphinx? You can look it up. But about 2,000 years after it was created, a different pharaoh made a temple in between its legs. on the real Sphinx, and of course you can look up your picture, there are horizontal lines on it. And from the remnants of the paint that they can find on there, they think that those were painted blue and yellow. So I'm going to put my lines on there too. If you want to decorate your headdress differently, go for it. There are a lot of theories out there about the Sphinx. A lot of different opinions. Most archaeologists believe that the Sphinx was created in about 2500 BCE. So that is about 4,500 years ago. Alright, so I have my Sphinx drawn, and I wanted to add to my landscape. So I'm going to start one of the pyramids. You can see that all of these things are pretty close together in the Giza Plateau in the picture that I have. You can see that the pyramids are behind the Sphinx. And they actually think that the Sphinx, there might have been a second one, because usually they are created in pairs. So I'm going to start with a line coming down, a vertical line or a close to vertical line. And then I'm just going to put a triangle over top of it to create my pyramid. Now my line in the middle should be a little bit longer or come down a little bit further, so I can close up the bottom at an angle, kind of like a really wide open letter V. I'm going to put some of the sand dunes behind my pyramid, and the Sphinx has actually been covered by sand for most of its lifetime. It was most recently excavated in the 1920s. But before that it was completely buried in the sand. So I'm going to do another pyramid. You can see the second pyramid back here. So I started with another line. Oh, my Sphinx is in front. And you can't really see the bottom of that one. So I've just gone down to the sand dune. Now you can put other little details on here. There are lots of tour buses and tourists that come through. So one of the things that I thought that I might add is a camel. And it's just going to be a little silhouette because it's so far away. I might do a couple of them. So I'm just going to start out. Let's see, do I want to put it over here? I think I'm going to put it over here. You can decide if you're putting in a camel where you're going to put it. I'm just going to start out with a little oval. Let's see if I can go in a little bit closer. You can see how small it is now. And I'm just going to put the humps on there. I'm going with a 2-hump camel. And when I put the neck and the head on there, again, no real detail to it. I just made a little oval. And then I'm going to make some skinny legs. But it's far away, so I'm not going to worry about any details. You can put other things back there. Like I said, there are a lot of tourist buses that take people out there to view the pyramids and the Sphinx. So you might want to have a bus, a car, maybe a few horses. They used to call camels the ships of the desert. And I want you to put a circle for a sun on either the right or left side of your paper. I'm going to go on the right side. So this is going to help when we shade it. go ahead and add all the details you want. Now I want you to take a thin black marker. I'm going to use a thin Sharpie, and I want you to trace over your lines. And we are going to start in our background when we color. And I want to show you the one that I made for a different grade because it shows a pretty good blend. I got to bend the paper a little bit. But you can see where I've done a nice blend in my sky to make it more interesting. This is also really good practice. So this is a sunset blend where I started with pink, I blended it into yellow, and then into orange, and even a magenta color. You can practice this also, but it doesn't have to be in sunset colors. So I'm going to show you blending with a blue sky. So I've got my lighter blue here. It's just a blue-green, and it comes in your regular 24 pack of crayons. And I'm going to start along the bottom. And I'm just going to show you in this little section here. Okay, so I'm pressing medium over here. Also, I'm trying not to color into my pyramid. Now, as I go up, I'm going to press lighter and lighter until there's just barely any crayon going onto the paper at all. Then I'm going to come in with my blue, and I'm not going to start up here where I stopped using my blue-green. I'm going to start way down here, and I'm pressing light to medium, and I'm mixing my blue into the blue-green. So you can't really tell where I stopped using one color and started using another. If you have a lot of texture on your table and you're trying to blend, it might help to put another piece of paper underneath the paper that you're coloring on. So I want to be careful around my sun here. But I'm going to finish with my blend over on the other side also, and all the way up to the top of my paper. I can even go just a little bit darker if I mix in my indigo crayon. I can start lightening up, and then I can come in with my indigo blue, which is a kind of a violet blue, and I can even blend that in too. So I want everybody to give blending a try on this project, okay? See if you can use some different colors and blend from one to the next in your sky. And it doesn't have to be blue, could be sunset, it's your choice. Even night, if you can do a blend with blue, purple, and black even. Now on your pyramids, you have to remember that these are a three-dimensional shape. The sun is on the right side of my pyramid, so this side is going to be lighter, and this side over here is going to be darker. And I'm going to blend with my crayons to make that happen. Now I am using the apricot crayon to mix with the brown to get the color for the shadow side of the pyramid. For the highlight side of the pyramid, I'm using apricot and yellow, or maybe some orange, but no brown on this side. I keep moving forward on my picture. I start in the background, then the middle ground, and now the foreground. One of the things that I'm thinking about are the shadows that things are casting from the sun. So very lightly, I drew out the shape of the shadow, and I would want to just add that in there. And it's going to help everything look more three-dimensional, more realistic. Now remember to use the pause button if you need to. I used peach and a little bit of orange at the top to shade my sand and to color into my shadows. And now I'm ready to finish up my picture by shading my Sphinx and my details. So since my details and the Sphinx have small things on them, I'm switching over to color pencil. And I think I would like to kind of do my own idea of what colors and what the Sphinx looks like, and way back when it was created 4,500 years ago. But then I also have this very modern tour bus here too. So a little combination of the past and the present. Think about the sun and the way the light is hitting things as you shade them. So the top of my bus needs to be lighter than the side of my bus. So when I color that, I'm using a lighter blue. You can also mix white with your blue, or you can just, or white with your color if you are trying to lighten it up, or you can just press lighter with the same color that you're going to use. So I'm going to use my darker blue on the side because a bus is really a rectangular prism. Now I'm using a dark green on the shadow side of my Sphinx and a light green on the highlight side and blending in between. On the face, I'm using a red color pencil on the shadow areas like the left side of the face, underneath the nose and chin, and I'm going to use a pink to put on the highlight and blend in between. I pressed very lightly on the nose. If you want to try signing your picture as you finish up with hieroglyphics, I'll put that back. Hopefully you did try giving it, or did give it a try with the shading and had fun with that. I'm going to put this up here. Remember, you can press pause so that you'll be able to sign your name in the hieroglyphics. I hope you had a lot of fun.